Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus IS250, and this is the SEL model. The reason we do the road tests, very simply, is we want customers to see our cars in operation prior to coming to see us. That way, if there's any issues with the vehicle, we can and we do relay them back to you. Road tests are also done on exactly the same road test route as any prospective buyer will go on. So obviously, hopefully, it'll be representative of what you should see and feel yourself. This particular car is registered LB06EYW, and mileage on the start of this road test is now 70,124 miles. It's just crept over the 69,000, which is what we bought the car on. Brief background to the car. The car's just gone through the workshops actually. It's got a very nice service history on the vehicle, good MOT. We did notice on the MOT there was a couple of advisories, one of which was front tyres, which looks like the previous owner's done. Also mentioned the fact that the brake discs on the front were showing signs of wear, although perfectly safe. They weren't bad actually, but we have literally just fitted brand new discs and pads on the front of the vehicle. So anyway, coming back to the car itself, the car starts absolutely instantly. Press of a button on these cars, obviously SEL, so you've got keyless start and keyless entry. Engine starts immediately, settles to a very smooth, very even idle. The engine revs, pulls through its rev range absolutely brilliantly. These are fabulous engines. Kind of the right amount of power for the car and the gearbox. It just all works really nicely together. But the engine is very sweet. The car's been running for quite some time now. Temperature gauge is running just under half on the temperature gauge, which is exactly where it wants to be on one of these Lexus cars. Engine then feeds through into the automatic gearbox, which is brilliant. It's an incredibly smooth shifting gearbox. Works really nicely. Again, perfectly matched to the engine. You know, the engine, you know, it'd be tempting for Lexus, I guess, to put in a kind of, for tax reasons, a low tax banding 2-litre engine, but it'd be gutless by, you know, this just is exactly the right match for the engine and the power it produces. But it's absolutely seamless in the way it goes about its business as well. It makes for a very, very relaxed car to drive. All of it's absolutely silent in operation as well. They're incredibly refined, but I can't find any noticeable wear in engine gearbox at all. As I said, obviously the brakes on the car literally just been done, so obviously you'd expect the brake pedal is very good indeed. I'm obviously just been careful to bed the brakes in. Normally I'd give them a really hard stamp on on road test, but I'm not going to ruin a brand new set of discs doing that. The steering of the car, lovely and taut. The track's bullet straight. There's absolutely no vibrations coming back through the steering wheel of the vehicle at this or any other speed that I've driven the car at. But it's just the immediacy of turn with no slack, no again, no obvious signs of wear in it, and it's really nicely geared as well. You turn in with a minimum of movement, minimum of body roll, but it's done in a very relaxed way. It doesn't it's not so quick. It's, you know, ridiculously pointy and twitchy. It just perfectly matches the chassis. Suspension on the vehicle, absolutely brilliantly judged. I think this is one of the best combinations you'll find in this sector. Very supple, beautifully damped. It rides the bumps brilliantly well, but what it isn't is wallowy in any way, shape or form. You know, cars in its class, you know, the BMWs, the Audis, the Mercedes. BMW is the most overtly sporting, but suffers with its ride as a consequence, because you can't have such firm suspension without a supple ride. Certainly on roads around here, and, you know, city roads where it gets potholed, you know, they're, you know, borderline unbearable in my opinion, but there we are. But people love them. The Audi's just too wallowy and soft. The closest would be the Mercedes, but it's kind of a bit wooden by comparison to this. I think they've got this one absolutely spot on, and completely misjudged and underrated by the motoring press, as is nearly always the case, because they always go to their kind of fallback manufacturers. But there's no clonks, no metallic noises, no sign of wear underneath. It just rides solidly and beautifully. It really does. Also, driving at speed, I'll get up to the legal limit now, 60 miles an hour, and it's absolutely silent in here. It's so quiet, very little road or wind noise, you know, hardly any engine noise of any note. You'll hardly hear it unless you really press hard on the throttle pedal. But it's, you know, it's a wonderfully refined car. Obviously that would be spoiled very quickly if there was a door seal or windscreen seal damaged, which would allow kind of wind intrusion, but there's nothing. It's wonderfully quiet in here. Just checking the cruise control function, and that's working exactly as it should as well. You can also operate these gearboxes in a manual mode using these paddles. On right hand side goes up, left hand side goes down. It's really good, it's really quick in its gear change. What it's really good for, of course, is if you're going to overtake a car, say for sake of argument, automatics don't have eyes. They can't see what is going on in front of what you're trying to do. So, you know, if you're going to go past a car, drop it down a gear, fly past nice and safely, and then change up as and when you want to. Automatics have a very unnerving habit of halfway through an overtaking manoeuvre deciding it wants to change up, which kind of leaves you floundering. You then shove your foot down and wait for the kick down, and all these little delays can be, you know, very unsettling, but this kind of overrides it and it works all absolutely perfectly. Looking around inside the car, in absolutely superb condition in here, it really is. What the video cannot get across, and you'll only know when you drive one, is just how solid these cars are. They are amazing. This is what, 11 years old, and not a squeak, not a trim buzz, not a rattle, and it feels solid. The whole feel of the car. It's not just the fact that it's quiet in here and it's well built, but that every switch, every button, every actuation has a feeling of, you know, what it is, which is premium quality. This is, you know, the best made car in its class by a country mile in the real world. I'm not talking about when manufacturers road test them when they're brand new. This is build quality. You know, you drive a 3 Series or an Audi or a Mercedes at this age, they don't feel the same. You know, I don't upset people, but they really don't, generally speaking. But it's all working beautifully well. Heated, air-conditioned seats. Again, you know, they cool and heat perfectly well. You know, the dashboard here, all the readouts working exactly as it should as well. It really is a joy to drive this car. The point of the videos is, as always, is to pick up on any issues I possibly can, and I've done it on many of my previous videos, so it's not just a case of sort of ticking boxes. You know, I can't find anything mechanically wrong with this vehicle at all. It drives absolutely sensationally. Clearly, if I've missed anything on the video, you know, I encourage people, do give me a call, you know, and I'll answer any questions you may have about the car. But based on this test drive, you come to see and hopefully buy, you know, a fantastic example of a great car.